All right, guys, need you to pick between Jawan Jennings, Cole Turner, and
The fuck is Cole Turner?
I do the
right.
opposite with all of them. I cut the best player. I keep the worst player and trade the middle one.
That's why KTC works.
I'm like, this is so stupid. Quit bugging me with this. I just want to know. I just want to have an idea.
With all apologies to Cole Turner, whoever that is, I am your esteemed co-host, Chris Hopper at Beerfield Hop with 2Ps, joined by my slightly more esteemed co-host, Beerfield Theory, and Ryan Miner's back after his attempt at becoming a PBA bowler didn't go so well.
If I had the risk card, I might have had it.
Could be Mookie Betts anytime soon.
So I think Cole Turner probably has the most punchable name. Ever?
Like you want to punch his name?
I want to punch him because it sounds like he'd be the one to spike your girlfriend's drink at a bar. And I'm sure maybe Cole Turner's like the nicest guy in the world, which is generally what would happen.
Sounds like a country singer.
He sounds like a supervillain, but modern day. Like he wants to sell you Bitcoin.
I think he just wants
you to sign up
beer and chicks in his truck and tractors. He's a bro country guy. I think he's a bro country guy.
That's bro country, even better.
Yeah,
so,
I think he's bro country. That's what I get. That is dark.
It's copper tone. You can't tell through the obviously.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that is less dark. I was concerned. I'm like, Dan's doing barrel ages in the middle of July.
This is a red
in
ale.
June.
Hey, I'll drink my goddamn BBAs wherever I want to.
All right, we got some Dynasty Sliders for you. So we're going to talk about some guys who it's kind of stocked down. You don't really want to try to move from them, but their situation did not improve. Things got a little bit murkier for them coming through free agency in the draft. We're going to do a timed session of Beerfield Reads Roto World Hype Edition and kind of go through buy, sell, some of the coach speak and things that are coming out. It's slow news week. And yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in with us. Yeah, we got beer. Let's talk beer. By the way, I thought yesterday was my homebrew meeting and it's next week, so that was fun. I drove all the way to Waterloo for nothing and then just drank all night.
Oh yeah, hard life.
Yeah, I know.
What's fueling Beerfield?
All right, Ryan, I'm interested. Let's start with you.
All right. So I went in my fridge and I found something random. I'm like, oh, I'll try this because I never had it before. And I'm kind of regretting it already. So tonight I have Blake's Hard Cider Tropicalata. It's an orange, coconut, and pineapple hard cider.
Sounds good.
The sounds and how it tastes are.
It sounds sweet and buttery.
Yeah, it's very sweet, and I'm like,
if you're into that. All right, Dan, I thought you were drinking a stout. You, in fact, are not drinking a stout. You have a red ale.
I am, I was in Missouri. So for those of you who didn't see Twitter.
Yeah.
Hopper and I worked an event that Hopper put on in St. Louis. I guess St. Louis and Jason. It was in Cottleville. Cottleville, right outside St. Peters, Missouri.
Northwest suburb.
Yeah. At the Bourbon and Brews Festival, and I was staying at a hotel. My wife and I were staying at a hotel right next to Third Wheel Brewing.
Nice.
So this is who I have on today. We shared some drinks over there, played some trivia ourselves, and I picked up a 4-pack because it's always about supporting local. So I have the red ale today. It's called Salmon, 5.8%, 16-ounce can. Hard to tell in a room that's not lit very well because I don't give a fuck.
You can see it.
So more of my thoughts later. We have a question. We haven't had a question in a while. God damn it. All right. Would y'all trade Devonta Smith for CJ Stroud? Superflex full PPR rebuild.
Superflex full
answer-
PPR rebuild? Yes.
I would.
Yeah, I
And
would.
I think it seems you may have to add on more depending on how people view.
You can get that
you're-
one for
Yeah,
one straight up. I'd totally do
I would
that.
want more. I'd want more for Devonta Smith. I think he has the opportunity to actually surpass AJ Brown. I don't think Stroud's enough.
I would think the other way. I think
Yeah,
you
I
need
would-
to add on.
I would think in
Smith.
Superflex you need a little bit more on Smith to go.
So that's Smith for the 104 or 103, depending on how you view, maybe even higher. I personally believe Smith's capped. I don't think he surpasses Brown.
No, not in Philly and running quarterback too. So, and tight end. I mean, that's a team it's a good team with a solid defense that doesn't figure it out to play from behind a lot. I mean, I like Devonta Smith a lot, but if you can go out and get, in a rebuild, the quarterback in a Superflex league is the catalyst of your rebuild. If you can go out and get CJ Stroud for just that, I'm doing it. I would think you'd have to put a little more on Smith to make that happen, but if that's out there, I'm 1 for 1 in that all day to take Stroud.
All right, so before you can give your thoughts, Ryan, he did list the rest of it. He did list more of his team. Wide receivers Higgins, Waddle, and Amon-Ra. And his QBs right now are Tannehill, Kyler, and Russell Wilson. Ryan, you're pro Smith. Obviously, Hopper and I are pro Stroud in this. So why don't you give your?
I'm pro trading from surplus too, and that's a wide receiver surplus.
Yeah, now that I see the surplus, but I'd still want Devonta Smith. He wasn't that much further behind AJ Brown in total fantasy points, even though AJ Brown, as of right now, is worth wide receiver 5. Where Devonta Smith is down at wide receiver, I'd say probably 12 to 15 range. But eventually, this team's gonna have to make up their idea of what they want to do with AJ Brown. Are they going to keep him? Because eventually Smith's contract is going to come up, and it's actually going to be, do they pay him or do they let him walk? So that's another way I like to look at it. I like to stay young. I don't know if I don't really believe in Stroud. That's just me though, personally. Yeah, the hype's there, but there's not that much around him that really makes me feel confident in having that. Where Devonta Smith, you have Jalen Hurts throwing you the balls. You have a good offense. So that's where my thing is at right now.
I will say
it depends
this,
on a rebuild too. If you trust Houston to build around Stroud, you got to remember you've got Mechie, who is well regarded, coming back. They're gonna build up that offense.
Yeah, but Houston doesn't have a first round pick
window.
next year either. So they spent they traded up with the third
trades
pick
in a long time.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. So that kind of hinders them. I mean, unless they get Hopkins, there's rumors of Hopkins was there. That could help.
He's not going back to Houston. He wanted out of Houston. There's no way he goes
that was
back
the old
to
regime.
Houston. That's still the same owners. That was his issue.
The issue was the owners, yeah.
Just for what it's worth, KTC, again, this is more of a self-use site. Obviously, we'll mock it, but based off KTC does one thing well, and that's just kind of highlight where current trends may look, where you can take advantage of. Smith is actually ahead of Stroud, but they're in the same tier in terms of super flex rankings. James also said he has pretty solid. Look, if you're going for a real build, man, your first effort would be to move Kyler and Wilson. If you're going for a real build, I would actually keep Smith, and try to move your quarterbacks. They're going to win you more games than Smith will. But at the same time, it's going to be tough. Try to move both Kyler and Russell, given where they were at last year, given to where Kyler is at right now. Wilson's more of an in-season trade when he has actual time to show that he still has it. But I think you have a pretty damn good team.
There's some interesting.
I still like Wilson,
and I'm not sure the rest of your running backs are the rest of your roster. What the league scoring is, all that shit. But in terms of what you think, in terms of this trade, if you are entering a rebuild, I would prefer Stroud for the simple fact that if he hits, he's going to hit harder.
Well, we talk about the team around Stroud too, right? And Houston maybe having to go free agent for wide receivers. So I started looking at the 2024 free agency class. That's a class that's going to include guys like Mike Evans, Michael Pittman is going to be in that class. T. Higgins is in that free agency class. So, there's some guys that have intrigue there. And I mean, yeah, you're going to have a bunch of teams fighting for 3 or 4 dudes, but there's some dudes there that could land. If I'm truly rebuilding, I'm going to lead quarterback. I've heard that roster, and I don't know that a rebuild is the way I'd be going. I'd just be trying to short my quarterback position.
You see, you had to offer Bryce for Kyler.
That would help the rebuild of your quarterback right there.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the biggest problem. If you're running Breece Hall in that wide receiver core, your quarterbacks are in the underperformance of Russell Wilson and the Kyler knee injury are your biggest problems. I don't think you got to blow that thing up. I just think you retool the quarterback position.
Yeah. You already have Tannehill, and you got one more year at least.
I think it's more of a retool. Obviously, not being able to compete with your 2 best quarterbacks. If Wilson hits the way that people thought he did last year, then you'll have a chance. You still need you don't need your second QB to hit to be successful in a super flex league. I am very much well versed in that, but having one is where the benefit comes from and gives you the flexibility.
Yeah,
it is. I
have to ask the question of, do you have a 2024 first? Because, Drake May and Caleb Williams, like, what's the possibility of you having a high pick again, or did you trade for any picks? Like, what's the odds of any of those picks being high? Because it depends how fast you rebuild. Are you rebuilding this year? Or are you rebuilding 2 to 3 years?
A lot of things can change throughout a year of college football too.
Right.
And plus, if you're trying to retool, Kyler Murray is like the perfect candidate for that. I mean, I know, Ryan, you don't like him.
Kyler Murray?
This dude is a top 5 quarterback at fantasy.
I've never hated Kyler Murray. I like Kyler Murray.
Okay, maybe I was wrong.
We're just used to you hating everything. Good.
Yeah. Quit putting words in my mouth, Dan.
Kyler Murray is the guy you want to, I think, trade for in this sense. If you're like with your roster and with the youth of your roster and where the direction I definitely could be, I'd be eyeing a retool more than a rebuild.
Oh yeah, he's got a 2024 first and 3 2024 seconds for next year, so he can even take those 3 and move up into a first with that.
You have a lot of movements.
That. Yeah,
I'd be trying to win in your position. I'll be honest with you. I'd be trying to win. I was waiting for Breece and Kyler because they won't be a full goal 24. Breece is ahead of schedule from what I've.
Yeah, Breece I'm less worried about. I mean,
yeah,
it was a clean tear for him. It's not the Javonte Williams or J.K. Dobbins thing where, you're worried about them coming in slow. I mean, he should be fine. I mean, you might get first game or 2, but there hasn't been anything negative on him. Kyler, on the other hand, yeah, you're going to be missing that one might games. So if you had an offer out there for Kyler, then yeah. Yep.
Maybe he'll be on a new team next year when they get to 101 and they have to, get the rights
Caleb
to
Williams.
take Caleb Williams and they'll trade Kyler. One can hope. I'll take him for cheap.
Yeah, buy now. Yeah, buy low on Kyler. I mean, or sell.
I'm saying by me. I mean, the Vikings.
We're not starting
that. Why? We haven't even played the 23 season yet.
He's waiting for Trey Lance to the Vikings now.
He's waiting for anybody not Kirk Cousins to go to the Vikings, but it's all void.
I just want them to accept their retool rebuild. That's all. That's it. That's what Hopper. You should know this. That's what Bears have been doing forever until they finally pulled the trigger on Justin Fields.
I'm waiting for Justin Fields to fall flat on his face again. The more I watch it, the more I don't like him.
So he's asking too, would you move Kyler for Breece Hall? Not Breece Hall, I'm serious.
Bryce Young.
Would you move Kyler for Bryce Young?
What does KTT show? Because at this point, I would say yes, because we don't know exactly what Kyler's going to do. And if you're part of the 2024 rebuild, I trust
Bryce Young
is more.
Bryce Young is so Bryce Young's QB 7 so Bryce Young's QB 10, Kyler is QB 13, separate tiers.
I think I would probably do that too because I trust okay. you're going to miss some games this year because of Kyler. The expectation is that he'll be back full force, but I think the infrastructure around Bryce Young is going to be a bit better. Coaching-wise, player-wise,
player
personnel-wise, I think that Young's in a better situation.
You also know how good Kyler is when he's healthy. I'm on the other end. I wouldn't. Bryce, same size. So there's no height disadvantage in
Yeah,
this
but
one,
you hate
or
Bryce.
height advantage.
But you hate Bryce Young.
I don't hate Bryce Young.
You do hate Bryce
Actually,
Young.
I'm actually a big fan of Bryce Young for the NFL, not for fantasy.
Hater.
Yeah, but like Kyler, we just don't know how the ACL recovery is going to be. Like, how much more committed is he going to be on that knee now, trying to move around? As we've seen running backs come back
he
from ACL.
potentially becomes Dak Prescott. I mean, it's as long as Arizona offense supports that. I mean, Kyler's not a bad throw over the football.
But then you go from QB 13 down to like what was Dak QB?
Do we know what Bryce Young's going to be? I mean, at least I've seen what Kyler was. I am more inclined to
right. We see what Kyler was, but we've also seen what RG3 was too, and they rushed him back. Does the same? Do the Cardinals do the same thing with Kyler?
I hope not. I guess in that sense, sure. I mean, there's always risk you're running him back. It's also a risk that the Panthers have showed not a whole lot of competence, and he ends up being a bust. I mean, I guess this
bust anyways.
That's true. So I guess whatever you can get more on top of, right?
Yeah.
I personally would have moved him 1-for-1. You guys would.
I go with my gut on this
more
one.
On top.
If you feel you can get more on top, shoot for more on top. What else would you look for, Dan?
No, I'm saying like if I can move Kyler for Bryce plus, I would. Bryce, another young player.
Yeah, plus what?
Back.
There's some names out there.
And RB2. I'm not. There's fine.
Or
I'll throw an RB2 out there.
Or 2024 second.
Or 2024 second. It's super flex league. There's going to be some value being dropped.
I looked up an RB2 on Player Profiler and they didn't show up. That's not an RB2.
Okay,
isn't
that's
a player
fine.
name.
The best part is that the players change constantly. So, RB2 is what? A guy that finished with 12 points per game. You can find a shit ton of those.
What about like David Montgomery?
Which I think he's undervalued for this year. If you're trying to win, yeah, it's a good move. I don't think he has long-term value, unfortunately.
Let's see.
He's in a rebuild, I guess.
DeAndre Swift.
I was just gonna say that too.
Ooh, it's a good low ball move. I actually would like that in a rebuild.
Or if you're doing a true rebuild, Javonte Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be too much though.
Ramondre.
People love Javonte.
Ramondre is actually probably an RB1, but
people love him. I'm actually scared of. It's the same. It's New England. I shouldn't be scared.
I'm not scared of Ramondre Stevenson because
I'm scared of the team.
The underlying metrics are
You're scared of Pierre Strong Jr.
And the team was bad last year. So
well, no. It's more so Bill Belichick he knows how he likes.
Yeah, but they bought in a real offensive coordinator this time instead of Matt Patricia. If Stevenson can be productive on that team last year, I have no concerns of him being unproductive on that team.
I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking about how he treats running backs in a long-term stance.
Matt Patricia was just looking at the Pizza Hut takeout menu and ordering off that. He wasn't even calling plays.
I want a stuffed crust. Dude, it's 3rd and 10. I need a call.
Sounds really good right now.
I want 3 toppings, please.
Give me some. Take me to Wing Street.
Wing Street? Yeah. Fuck Wingstop. I want Wing Street.
We're just going to run cover 3. Just keep running cover 3 until it doesn't work.
We're on offense. I know what I'm talking about, guys.
We're on offense. Still cover 3.
Cover 3. No wonder Mac Jones.
Why are you guys not backing up? Because we're wide receivers. We're not freaking corners. We're not supposed to be in the deep half of the field.
We're doing a 12-step drop. We're doing a 12. We're doing God.
It's real weird. It was real weird when he tried to send the right guard on a blitz.
All right, guys. Annexation of Puerto Rico. Run it. It worked in the movie. It's going to work here.
It has to work.
Are we done with that?
That's it.
Sounds good.
It's been so long. This is why they stopped asking us questions.
All right. I'm going Well, I've had these guys on a lot lately. We're drinking Southern Grace. Southern Grace.
Dude.
No, I'm kidding.
Please don't
I really
mix the
did.
same beer
I
this
really
time.
did have that on 2 shows in a row. No, I got Triptych this time again because
Okay, that's
I wanted
fair.
to do a non-alcoholic beer again and start rotating those in because I actually do kind of enjoy them since Dan convinced me to try them. Randall's doesn't sell any. So
Of what?
Randall's does
Triptych?
not sell non-alcoholic beer. That's how I
Okay.
ended up with Triptych.
Interesting.
So I ended up with Triptych Brewing. It's another one of their heirloom lager series, which I've had a couple of these on. I really like them. It's called Indiana.
I saw that
It's a
today.
decoction mashed pale lager featuring Indiana-grown Hannah malt, and Czech Saaz hops. So Saaz a little spicier. More on that about halfway through the show. Triptych's heirloom lagers typically feature heirloom grains and noble hops. So there we go. All right. Abbreviated, not news, but hype section, and go. I'm just going to start from the latest. The Athletics' Joe Biscaglia reports Bills free agent addition Trent Sherfield has stepped up and been a favorite of Josh Allen's. Belief in Trent Sherfield beating out Khalil Shakir for the wide receiver 3 spot there.
That's more worse sign for Shakir than it means I actually care about Sherfield.
Yeah,
We love Shakir
exactly.
too.
We
and
do.
That should. I mean, we'll see. Early reports isn't strong for a guy that showed
A lot of
little
promise
last year.
Yeah.
But this is a win now team that it's looking for probably more veteran-ish to it, which is I think where Sherfield comes in.
The Athletics' Tashawn Reed writes Zamir White could be ready for a larger role in the Raiders' backfield.
Let's go. Finally.
I do not care about Zamir White.
Now's my hype train to
I
shine.
mean, if they're
let me
trying to
enjoy, let
lose-
me enjoy my 5 minutes of fame.
If they're trying to lose games, it's a great call because he's terrible.
I completely agree with you, Dan.
Well, I'm glad you guys are completely wrong, so that's okay.
He is god
I love
awful.
it.
I'm not
I love it.
wrong about running backs that often. And right now he's listed behind Brandon Bolin and Amir Abdullah on the depth chart.
My God, I didn't realize this was 2016.
No, it's a Josh McDaniels team. So yes.
That makes sense. That means it's going to totally go to Zamir White, and then he quits on his team. Halfway through the season.
Giants wide receiver Paris Campbell received some reps at running back at this team's minicamp. We're begging Twitter to avoid talking about Campbell playing the Debo role in 2023 at this time.
Well, he also needs to put on like 40 more fucking pounds to be that.
Yeah. Using Campbell in a gadget role and Wandale in a gadget role makes a lot of sense for this team, especially with, you've got some size on the outside now with Hodgins and Hyatt, and you have some speed out there. So if you get those two involved in some creative ways, sure. I believe that they're trying to be creative with Paris Campbell. Why wouldn't you be?
That's cool. The guy
Doesn't
only
mean
gets hurt
anything,
every
but-
other year. The guy only gets hurt every year. So let's
Yeah.
put him in situations where he can get hit more. Fan-fucking-tastic, New York. Great call. I can't wait to see him run off tackle. They take Barkley off the field to give him a breather. Here comes Paris Campbell
Who says Barkley's playing?
running off tackle. Well, I mean, because he's
I'm pretty sure Barkley has said that Barkley's playing.
No, Barkley said he's willing to sit out the season.
that dude's gonna play.
He'll play.
He's playing.
Bronco
doesn't play.
Commanders head coach Ron Rivera said Antonio Gibson could be a matchup nightmare for the opponent in the team's new offense. Does this make anybody else's blood boil after all the Brian Robinson shit last year and they're moving on from Antonio Gibson and blah, 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 and now all of a sudden he's a matchup nightmare?
I feel like this is the same headline I read last year, and then the same headline I read 2 years ago, and then the same headline after they drafted him. All they're missing is saying, I think I found my next Christian McCaffrey.
Everyone's saying that now, right?
Antonio Gibson's an RB2, and I'll leave it at that. He's an RB2, RB3.
RB2?
Flex value. I think he could be.
3. I think
He's
he
a running
could
back.
be.
I'm target. He's a running back. I'm targeting this backfield. I don't want.
I have
Brian
zero
Robinson.
trust in this entire team in backfield. I have zero trust
It's
in
Eric
Ron
Bieniemy.
Rivera.
But it's Eric Bieniemy. I have trust in Eric Bieniemy.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's Eric Bieniemy. Is he still the one making the final calls, or is it Ron Rivera?
Well, Ron Rivera isn't calling the fucking offense. He's a defensive head coach.
So I hope so.
You don't bring
Chase
in.
Young.
You don't. Bieniemy came in there for a reason, and I think it's because he was couldn't get a head coaching gig because Andy Reid was getting the credit for the Chiefs' offense.
Oh, so this is
So
going to be this.
I almost guarantee.
Vote of confidence right now.
So I almost guarantee Bieniemy's there under a defensive head coach, so he can run the offense.
I hope so. I truly hope so.
You're just getting grouchy in your old age. You're all like rain on everyone's parade, poo-poo in the Cheerios. Steelers offensive coordinator Matt Canada
So I'm being
said of
you?
the Steelers offensive approach for 2022 or 2023, we want to run the ball, we want to be physical, and we want to be a good team that can throw the football down the field. They want to play.
Those were the mid-90s.
They want to play offense, guys.
Oh man, I can't wait for Najee Harris for 400 carries, 1,600 yards, 6 touchdowns. It's gonna be amazing. RB1 though, it's fine.
Another report out of Buffalo.
Oh no,
This is why I love
this
this
is what
time of the
Diggs.
season.
Oh, yeah.
This is why
I
I
know
love
one
this
is.
time of the
Dig.
season.
Okay, let's hear it.
Buffalo News' Mark Gahn believes based on spring practices, Khalil Shakir is going to push hard for prime snaps in the Bills' three receivers.
Was this on the same day too?
Literally, I
It's
think
got to be hours apart, right?
It was a
Not
day apart.
even?
No, they're a day apart. They're a day
That's
apart.
incredible, man. It's just
I love
chef's
this part of the
kiss.
off season. That's perfect.
chef's kiss on that is pinnacle smoke season. At least it's not about Gabe Davis. I don't see any Gabe Davis news. I don't think the world's
That's 'cause
that
he's-
whole yet.
it's
That's
'cause
gonna
he's
solve the world.
Solidified is the wide receiver too. There.
Yeah,
It's because he's handing out
Stephon
gifts.
Diggs.
It's because he's already handing out gifts to us. That's why.
Commander senior writer Zach Selby writes, it looks like Washington's tight ends are going to be heavily involved in the passing game this season. So maybe that's their answer at quarterback is just to have Logan Thomas throw the football.
What, to himself?
He's a former QB.
Do they have a Travis Kelce on that team?
Logan Thomas has had a lot of productivity, but he's been injured a lot as well. So, but
You know how Travis Kelce started his career
Yeah.
by Logan Thomas.
Logan Thomas is
I'm totally kidding.
Logan Thomas is also 31. It's not like he's just starting his career.
I know. That's why I'm kidding.
But he's a former.
Don't they have a hyper athletic guy on that team?
Logan Thomas,
Well, I mean, besides Logan, I know his name. Besides him,
the tight end?
yeah.
Jesse.
It's
Something
not
Bates.
John Bates. Oh,
Coulter. Coulter is on this team.
Coulter.
It all comes full circle. He does he looks like a nice guy. Oh, oof.
Now I gotta pull him up.
Its best comparable is Tommy Sweeney. That's all that means.
That's
Oh,
bad
Marnie
news.
Rogers is on this team.
He's got great hair.
He
You were
does.
completely wrong about how this guy.
I know.
looks.
I feel like he's actually going to be a cool guy. I feel like he'd be the one punching the guy I thought he was.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry, Cole. I take everything I said back.
But no, they don't
That's
have
why you don't
any-
judge a book by its
They
name.
don't have anybody hyper athletic anymore.
They do
They
not.
did
They do
have a hyper athletic guy last year.
I'm not buying any tight end in this team. I don't
I
care
think
how
it was
fictionalized that they'll use him.
Damius Reyes. Remember him?
No, I know. I remember the we're trying to predict and which tight end from Washington is going to overtake or is going to fulfill Logan Thomas's role after he got hurt.
Okay, I slowed down. Sorry. A lot of rookies signing. Kirk Cousins does not expect any talks surrounding a new contract with the Vikings until March.
You're missing one of the big ones right now.
What?
The biggest one that was Stephon Diggs not showing up to mandatory camp.
He said he wasn't going to show up. I don't know why this is news. He's been saying this forever.
Like Twitter's overreaction was so awesome. Like people,
It's
oh, this is why I've been
Ryan,
saying
it's
him in
smoke
ADP.
season. Of
I
course
don't-
they're going to
like,
overreact.
I
They're
don't
fucking bored.
Give a shit about Twitter's reaction.
I
Quite
just-
honestly,
I just
I'm
been
so
laughing at it.
fucking tired about. I'm not reading anybody else's reaction because I don't care. I could give a shit what brainwave Twitter goes off on.
Yeah, it's great.
Like, I don't even want to talk about it. Diggs is a veteran. He'll be there. I'm not concerned. It's not news. That's why I didn't talk about it. It's not
Buy
news.
whatever fictional dip you think is there.
Yeah.
It's just he's gonna be good.
If
He's gonna
people
be
do
top
it,
5 in
great.
targets because there's nobody there that's gonna take targets away from him. It's the same fucking team as last year.
Oh, there is negative Brees Hall speculation.
Oh, is there a negative one now?
Athletic Zach Rosenblatt said he's skeptical Brees Hall will have a seamless return to the Jets lineup. But the players and
A
coaches
seamless
have expressed
return
nothing
as
but
if he's gonna
optimism.
be. That's so some random guy on their
So it's
beat
a
report
random
thinks he may. Okay,
beat reporter
no.
who's got to fill shit out.
Blowing smoke. Buy whatever fictional dip is from that fucking card.
Fictional dips are great.
It's smoke season,
Ben
baby.
Skoranek dealing with a foot injury. Buy whatever fictional dip is from
I
that.
feel like that's Ryan's favorite receiver. Was it? No, it's Hopper's favorite receiver was Ben Skoranek.
It
I
was
can't remember.
it was
I
both of
I
us.
got
You
him
guys-
into Ben Skoranek.
You guys,
I turned him
you
on to Ben
guys,
Skoranek.
you guys sipped on him so hard.
We still are.
I still
I
am.
know.
Yeah,
I know.
You know that I'm doing it tongue in cheek.
Nah, I mean, not entirely.
Don't talk shit about Ben
I see the
Skoranek.
poster. I see the poster behind you of Ben Skoranek.
What? That's Peyton Manning.
It's not on screen. I know it's there though.
Peyton Manning
It's Ben
I know
Skoranek
it's
in
there.
a Broncos jersey.
playing quarterback.
That's right. Playing quarterback. I mean, the man
Hey.
does everything.
Rashad
He's an
Bateman
offensive
is
weapon.
still dealing with foot issues.
Yeah, he got an injection.
Yeah.
Do we continue to
Yep.
buy the dip?
I don't know. I'm concerned.
Buy when he
I'm
goes
not
on
buying
a
the
new
dip.
team.
Yeah.
I don't think he has I don't think he's going to be in Baltimore long term, which obviously sucks being a huge Bateman fan. But what happens? Injuries.
What?
Let's go to Arizona.
Let me be the number one right away.
There we
Great.
go.
Adam Schefter reports Stephon Diggs will attend Bills mandatory minicamp.
He said he was there. He said he signed, like
Yeah.
he was in the building and stuff. I don't know.
Thought we weren't talking about this.
Well, to debunk it, I am. Jelani Woods is the most likely Colts tight end to take on the Dallas Goedert role in head coach Shane Steichen's offense, which, I mean, that makes sense, right? Jelani Woods flashed a little bit as a rookie last year. Mo Alley Cox hasn't really done anything with his opportunities. I'm buying this one, actually. I like Jelani Woods to take some steps. I mean, that offense could be a total dumpster fire, but I do like the tight end, especially with a rookie quarterback you're trying to make comfortable, or Gardner Minshew throwing the football. I actually think
it's gonna be
Jelani Woods is a
interesting.
sneaky guy here.
I don't
I don't
like,
see it.
I don't
see
like
it
the
being a
volume in that off. I think the Colts are going to be one of the lowest passing teams.
Tight
this
end.
year.
It's not that hard to be a tight end one.
It is for Jelani Woods.
Just say healthy, I guess. But
Jelani Woods will be a tight end one at the end of the season.
Finishes right at tight end 12. I'm like, dang it.
if he stays healthy, depends what you're looking at, points per game or total points. I guess it doesn't really matter,
Yeah.
but he probably won't be. But maybe he will.
Patriots released James Robinson. Just a little footnote there.
Waived him. Yep. Good story. Again, just it's what happens when you're a late round running back that suffers a major injury, and then no loyalty.
There's where the Cole Turner hype's coming from. Ron Rivera said tight end Cole Turner had a great spring after missing part of last season with a hamstring injury.
I mean, have you seen his hair? This man's majestic.
Oh, I know who Cole Turner is.
He's a tight end.
He was a former wide receiver, I think, that played for Hawaii.
He played for Nevada.
Yeah, Hawaii.
6'6", 250. I don't think he was playing receiver for anywhere.
He's a former wide receiver. That's literally in the Roto World article.
Is he a former wide receiver?
Yeah.
Well, when you're 6'6", 250, you're not playing wide receiver anymore. They got him at tight end the entire time when he was with Nevada. Did he play wide receiver in high school?
On the internet, it must be true.
Internet don't lie.
No, he's a wide receiver his first 2 years.
I'm looking.
So he
I'm looking at
came in as
player
a wide
profiler's
receiver?
page.
I'm
seeing
looking
tight
at
end
college
everywhere.
football reference. He was a wide receiver in 2018 and 2019, and then he converted.
The internet's telling us conflicting things, Hopper. I don't know what to believe.
I trust college football
It's
reference.
fake news.
Now, his productivity was a lot better after he moved to Titan. It's just like them saying he played for Nevada is fake news. He definitely looks like he played for Hawaii.
Oh, yikes.
It's Cole Turner episode. We won't talk about him again until I don't even know.
Ever.
But
Until Lucas Thomas gets hurt.
So
halfway through the
episode
season.
500, we'll bring her back up just on the way
We're
out.
going to bring back all the hype names. We're going to bring back Cole Turner, Ben Skoranek, Josh Love,
oh, Josh Love.
Brian Hoyer, 45-minute rant. Can't wait. It's going to be great.
There's a lot of things that hit there. Blake Bortles, all the Blake Bortles.
White Lightning.
Tyjae Spears, one of the most active players this. Okay, I'm done with this. We're done with that.
We're moving on to sales.
Sliders.
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 I want sliders.
Sliders, but not the White Castle kind.
That's an old one.
That feels like a year 2 one.
Definitely a year
That's
two one.
gotta be year 2. If it's year
Yeah.
1, it'd be copyrighted.
Year one would be copyrighted. Year 2 is gonna be not. Year 2 is not copyrighted, but then year 3 is when I started just doing them myself.
Yeah. Not the White Castle kind.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right. Same thing. I'm just gonna go through look at cards and we can start throwing names for people that we think took a hit throughout free agency and otherwise this offseason and that are, potentially generally in worse situations than they would have been, going into free agency and the draft. So
Yep.
Let me find a good name to start with. Hold on. Why am I drawing a blank? I was going through this last week, and I'm like, there's so
I can
many
throw a name out
people.
for you. Get
Do
you
it.
going right now.
Yeah, do it.
Javonte Williams with the signing of Samaje Perine.
Is
But
that why he's down?
I don't.
I figured it'd be the
I think
injury.
it's the ACL more than anything. I think he is. I don't think. So for me, I don't see that as being like super bad for his long term.
It's not super bad.
But it does. It should give you caution going into the season. But Pirine to me is an insurance policy. It doesn't super slide things for me, but it's interesting. I'll give you that. I should really prep for these episodes a little more, huh?
David Montgomery with the drafting of Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, that's a good one. So David Montgomery with the drafting of Jahmyr Gibbs, I think.
I mean,
I don't know. It's going to be interesting because I do think that you have a blueprint for how they can use these two. But David Montgomery is not Jamal Williams in short yardage situations. So
he's better. He's
Yeah,
a
he's
better
a lot
running
better.
back. But I mean, they had
He's an
Swift
upgrade.
still. Like Gibbs forced them to move Swift.
Gibbs is what is.
I think
the
it's
way
more
they see Gibbs right now.
stagnant. I
That's
think
how
it's
they
more
want
stagnant is what I
Swift
think
to
it
be.
is. Like I've been saying, which has been odd because I've been off of Montgomery last couple of years. He's a huge buy in redraft. Like,
you think?
oh,
He's
absolutely.
He's RB3 in redraft, I think.
He's the
He's
RB3
dropped-
or he's a RB3.
A RB3.
I was gonna say
So
Jesus Christ.
the RB3 would be incredible.
Probably Austin Eckler. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I like Monty. I just want
I'm
a
drafting
piece
him
of the
everywhere.
offense. I like the Lions' offense, and I think buying it into the running game with a team that wants to run the football more.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna if Dan Campbell gets his way, which he has so far, he's got a lot of influence on this team, especially with how they drafted. Like they're gonna be playing with the lead more often than they did last year, running the football. It's better for Monty, especially those short yardage situations. Like I'm not buying him in Dynasty, but I'm definitely like him in redraft.
I certainly think there's RB2 floor there. It is a little murky depending on how they use Gibbs.
He doesn't
But
have
I
a high
think
ceiling, obviously.
I think
but-
you're going to get Gibbs in kind of what the Swift role was the last couple of years when he was healthy. You're going to get
There's
him
how about
moved over the field, and
let's throw
he's-
Swift out there.
get some efficiency things. Yeah, DeAndre Swift landing in Philly is certainly, and you could make the same argument for
Landing
Gainwell,
Monty
right?
replacing. I mean, yeah, I can talk about that entire backfield. They bring in Rashad Penny,
Yeah.
and now it's a three-headed backfield. But Swift's marks was lost. They brought in Monty, and they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs with a top 15 pick.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets moved to a backfield that's gonna he's not big. It's like he's not gonna take goal line work from Hurts. Hurts is bigger than him
Yeah. And then
by incredible
bring in
amount.
Penny to be a better pure runner, and Gainwell. I mean, Swift's like a tweener between Penny and Gainwell.
And I just the fall from grace for Mr. Swift.
But-
RB17 on DLF.
I have a bit of faith in Swift in this offense and what
There's upside in
they've
touches. It's
done.
to be very efficient. It's to be very
Yeah.
efficient.
Yeah, and
Should
how they
be.
deploy players. Like, I think this is could be a good thing for Swift, like a blessing in disguise, even though it looks murky right now.
Say it's healthy, and it's going to be the big thing is going to be the ADP watch. Once we got about another month until we can really sink our teeth into redraft ADP. That's going to be the big thing is where Swift's starting to land. I don't think he's obviously not a first 2-round guy, probably not even a first 3-round, but I can see people based off of names and the team that he's on now could be around 4, almost the beginning of dead zone. And it's just how much you trust Swift and the touches that he could get. Not a healthy track record of health for him either, compared with Penny.
Back to the Lions for a second. Let's talk about Jamison Williams and the 6-game suspension, because I think that
that's right.
That hurts. I think that a guy missing majority of
Even
year
more
one
time.
due to injury, not being productive, and then immediately getting popped with a 6-game gambling suspension is not a great way to start your career. You're missing a lot of time. You're missing a lot of reps. You're missing out on a lot of chemistry on a team that is a breakout top one, wide receiver 1 and Amon-Ra St. Brown. That bad situation for him.
And they barely used him towards the end of last year when I would arguably think they needed him the most.
Yeah, they pushed
The
in
fact
the
there
playoffs.
was no ramp. I would give him more credit if they gave him more touches more snaps every week. They held them firm. It was less than 20% in every game he eventually started, or I came back when he came back.
Yeah, he had 9 targets through those 6 games, and I only came up with 1 reception.
And there's no need to rush them. They lost some more players due to that whole thing, but this is a team that's trying to compete not just for the NFC North title, but to make a playoff run. Williams behind the 8 ball for fantasies, and it could take him a while before he even pays off on whatever ADP he gets.
Yeah, this could end up by the end of this season being an extreme, buy the dip and hope if he doesn't.
You better hope, you
come in on
better
fire
hope
when he gets back.
It depends on where just how long it takes for him to get back to the starting lineup if he even gets on there.
Yeah,
that's tough.
So we can talk Seattle for a minute, I guess, and 2 things there. You had Zach Charbonnet behind Kenneth Walker. A lot of people expected this to be purely Kenneth Walker's backfield, and they go out and spend a 2nd-round pick to bring in a bigger but not explosive back in Charbonnet. And then you can talk Metcalf and Lockett. Metcalf off a down season, Lockett getting a bit older, with Smith and Jigba coming in as well. Look, Geno Smith is a great story. He's not going to support 3 top wide receivers on a run first team.
Yeah, this is going to be. It's hurt Walker, a running back with a better pass catching profile, if they even decide to throw the running backs.
Yeah,
I like Walker, one of the better pure runners. I think he'll always have that role. Not the greatest in terms of what you're looking for pure fantasy production when you're not getting work in the passing game and you're hoping for levels of Nick Chubb type of work, Derrick Henry type of work, Jonathan Taylor type of work, which if this draft pick tells us anything, it probably won't happen. Like, it's a hard bet. He'd have to leave Seattle, or one of them would have to get hurt.
Yeah.
Thanks, Seattle.
Thanks, Seattle.
Thanks, fucking assholes.
Wide receiver side of it too, right? I mean, we know JSN's going to go in the slot. It's going to push an older Lockett probably to the outside, where he played early in his career. That hurts his productivity. He's getting older, but I mean that's a stock down on your championship teams, and also, going out and spending that draft capital on JSN tells me that, do they believe in Metcalf as their alpha?
Yeah. That's such a great pairing between those two.
Yeah.
It's a prototypical super alpha outside mixed with, I guess we'll see where the targets go, but Lockett could be, Lockett's dipped so low on the onside of 30 as a first round receiver that should start week 1 that could easily eat into whatever work that he was supposed to get. Lockett's been hyper productive. Maybe he gets traded, let go, for whatever reason. That's kind of what you're hoping for with him. This should be the Metcalf JSN show, though.
Yeah.
If they throw.
A couple other guys from last year that were good, that are in less solid situations. Let's talk Jacoby Myers for a minute. He was a solid week in, week out PPR guy, who had some big weeks, and now he finds himself in Vegas.
I actually like this.
Yeah.
You like this landing in Vegas?
The volume? Man,
The Patriots West?
They're going to have to throw the ball so much. And they paid him a good amount of money. He's been a target. He's been an actual. I get it. He didn't really have to compete for targets in New England, but he's playing with Josh McDaniels, a guy that knows him. Like, there's something to that too.
Yeah, he didn't have to compete for targets and had the volume there, but he was also, he's a guy that definitely profiles slot, and he's not going to get to play there in Vegas. Because of Renfro. They're not putting Renfro outside.
They just paid him a lot of money. What if he just overtakes Renfro?
And they got Renfro still a lot of money.
What? Keelan Cole or Philip Dorsett as your third receiver?
Maybe a lot of 2 receiver sets. I don't know.
The construction here doesn't make any fucking sense.
So
2 receiver sets. So you're gonna throw. I guess you could throw.
They both just run slants.
Some combo of OJ Howard, Michael Mayer, and Austin Hooper out there, but yeah, and Jimmy Garoppolo, right? The foot injury. So
he's gonna get Myers killed. Jimmy.
Yeah,
he's gonna get one of those guys fucking murdered.
Oh, absolutely, he will. No,
but I don't think his value changed too much. Hopper, you and I both love him. I think Ryan does too. It's just
I like him, but I don't.
Oh yeah, I like him.
I do like the volume, and I guess we'll see how everything shakes out.
I don't. I think it's a.
I think his ceiling is wide receiver 3, but he's more like a boom bust, like flex play.
See, and that's what you don't. That's the exact opposite reason of why
you don't want him.
I don't. That's exactly why I don't want him now, because it's the exact opposite reason of why I liked him, is he wasn't boom bust. He was just really solid floor all the time, and I like those players. So now, you tell me boom bust wide receiver 3, that's like I get 2 catches for 13 yards, or I get 6 for 53 with no real upside. Like, I'm not about that.
No, because you start him that 1 week, you're like, oh man, he sucks. So you bench him, then he goes off on your bench, and then you put him back in.
Somebody with a higher ceiling than that, if they're going to be boom bust, or I want somebody with a higher floor than what I think he's going to have in Vegas.
It wasn't good for him last year. I'm looking at his production from last year.
It wasn't fantastic, but there were
he had 2 games over 10 targets, no games over 10 after week 9 or after week 8. Nice. He had a decent finish, 797 in target departments, touchdown in every game. Productive. Obviously, end of season means whatever, but it's again, he's not
But
expensive.
The thing that I like though too is that there was only a handful of games that were duds, right? So it's reliable productivity. There's one, two.
I mean,
there's one.
How many
two,
weeks were you like
3 total games that were duds, and everything else is pretty reliable, middle of the road. 3 out of 17. If I can trust a guy to give me a reliable wide receiver 3,
what's wide
4 type performance, then I'm fine. It's just the consistency. I knew what I was gonna get. It wasn't unpredictable.
Yeah.
And
I don't know how excited you were to play him last year in most weeks.
You never were excited, but you never felt terrible about it either because, again, it was consistent. You knew what you were getting. So you don't get excited and think this is going to be great, but you don't think he's going to give me a goose egg either, and this guy's going to kill my team. It's just something you can plug in and work around as a foundational. I know what he's going to give me. Relatively confidently, I know about what he's going to give me. That's what I liked about Jacoby Myers.
I think that's still there. I think he can match the production he had last year, which I think is what you were looking for, right? You're looking for,
I think it's
5 catches for 50 yards and maybe a touchdown. I think he can match that next year.
I think it's going to be more inconsistent.
Possibly. I mean,
that's what I don't like.
He had a strong start. He had a bad middle. He had a strong finish. That's, again, it's New England, right? The very bad situation last year.
Fair.
I'm basically buying more time to try to find players.
I found them. I was looking for players when you were talking.
Ryan, what do you got, bud?
I moved over to the tight end position, and I'm on Dawson Knox with the drafting of Dalton Kincaid.
That fucking killed him. He's sleeping with the fishes right now. But
he went over the Grand Canyon on this one.
And here's the other side of this argument, though, right? The learning curve for tight ends. If Kincaid might not come in and immediately be,
I think they're both going to be not great. At the beginning, they're going to eat into each other.
Look at the beginning of Travis Kelce's.
I agree with Dan.
Look at the beginning of Travis Kelce's career.
Every single one of them.
Yeah,
does not mean Knox is going to be good though.
Well,
I think Kincaid will outproduce Knox.
Knox wasn't good last year.
No.
So
he was touchdown good.
Knox is the product of touchdowns. Yes, he was a product of touchdowns 2 years ago. Michael Pittman with the drafting of Anthony Richardson and
his situation
bringing down the low volume.
Yeah.
Well, then he had this scandal, even though it's not a receiver. I think he gets traded this offseason. I thought it would be this year, but with him going on to his final season, I can see him getting moved.
Yeah, he's a free agent next year after the season. So,
yeah.
Actually, the whole freaking Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a whole.
Besides Rachaad White, literally besides Rachaad White.
Yeah, that wide receiver core is a huge question mark because you don't know what you're going to get out of the quarterback position. So
exactly,
I trust Chris Godwin. It's all I trust because of what Jarvis Landry was able to do with.
I trust Mike Evans because
that's how I am.
Look at his career.
I know he's been so productive.
So how do you not?
But the style of receiver that Baker likes looks just like Chris Godwin.
It does, but it's not going to be both of them, and that's the hard part.
I know it sucks. It's going to be literally the worst gets every week.
You've got Mike Evans, who's never had a season below 1,000 yards.
They need to trade. God, I fucking pray they would have moved one of them. And that's all I was praying. Move one of them.
Chris Godwin, who fits exactly what Baker wants, and it's what the hell. I don't love either. I don't love it at all.
And then it's going to be Kyle Trask, and we're all going to throw our hands up. That actually would be better for Mike Evans, to be perfectly honest. I really, God damn it, I hate Kyle Trask.
Yeah, Trask for Evans and Mayfield for.
They just go 2 quarterback and support
Godwin.
Yeah. Chris Olave, if you believe that Michael Thomas is healthy, it has anything left in the tank.
Dude, he's gone up still. He's still wide receiver 1. Like there's been no. I'm saying by Michael Thomas, I don't think he just all of a sudden became bad at football.
I don't think he did either.
But the NFC South is also the worst division of football yet again, and the Saints may actually be the best team on paper in that in that division.
Yeah.
Wow, wide receiver 67 per fantasy pros on Michael Thomas right now,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
and dropping. He just dropped 7 spots. So
All right, let's hit a beer review before we run out of players.
Beer review.
All right. We'll go reverse order in which we introed on, which means Dan is still in the middle. So I'll go first on this one.
Sandwich.
I was drinking
hello.
Indiana from Triptych Brewing out of Savoy. This malt, heritage malts are interesting. This one's a little bit nuttier. So it's got a nuttiness to it with some like white bread, and it's really light bodied, but it's flavorful. And then Chexas hops. I mean, they do a good job showcasing hops in their lagers, and this one has a nice kind of like, you just get that nice subtle spice and floral notes that Saz gives you. Just traditional noble hop notes with a good grain build to it. Clean fermentation characteristics, no esters or anything like that. Really crisp and easy drinking, so they continue to impress with their heirloom series. I'm a malt nerd, so it was kind of cool to see what that Hana malt gave. And it's definitely a nutty, kind of bready, like light toast type of character to this. So more nuttiness than anything. But it's subtle, so it's really, really good. Really well executed, known for their hazy IPAs. They do a good lager.
Which is always a sign of a good brewer. Again, Third Wheel Brewing out of St. Peters, Missouri. Drinking their Sandman, which is a red ale. Traditional red ales run, really, really medium to dark malt characteristics, especially in color, and flavor is very malt forward, hop forward, which is where the ale comes from. They tend to balance the most, think of an APA, but a little more extreme to that sense. Third Wheel, giving us the pleasure of listing their ingredients on their cans. Hops, Nugget, and Mount Hood. So Nugget is a very popular, I believe, bittering hop.
Yep.
I've not heard of Mount Hood, but I would assume it would be, because you wouldn't use a traditional floor or a traditional citrus hop for this style.
It's a red ale, right? I think Mount Hood is more
Yeah.
like piney, woodsy. I'll look
That'd
it
be
up
my-
for it. I'll look it
that'd
up
be my
for
guess.
sure, but I'm pretty sure it's more like a
would
piney, woody.
That
hop.
would make more sense with this. I believe Nugget might actually be. I think when you boil it, you get the bitterness from it. But I think when
So-
you dry hop it, it's more of a citrus.
It is. So I'm guessing that was the bittering hop, and then Mount Hood is pretty much a aroma hop, and it's got Hallertau Mittelfra origins.
Okay.
So that's definitely more herbal, floral,
Yeah.
woodsy, a little bit of citrus, but not much.
Grains, because they don't. I mean, they do list them all, but listed under grains. Grains says Maris Otter, Munich Rye, and Caramel Malt. Which again, traditional red ale, you're going for that really medium to dark colors. Munich and Caramel Malt, they're going to give you that. I don't know what
Surprised
Maris
there's-
Otter is.
So Maris Otter is a British base malt that has a little bit more of a like bready character to it than what standard American two-row or Pilsner does. So it's a
Okay.
little bit more fuller, a little bit maltier. Traditionally used in European beers is the base. If it's not a light lager, then it would be Pilsner. So,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, they never use two-row over there like Americans do.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there's
What-
no roasted malt in that though. For it being a red, like a little bit of roasted malt's typically how you get the red color out of that. So I'm not
Yeah.
surprised it's a little bit more coppery.
What is SRM?
SRM is your color. So the higher the SRM, the darker the color. I don't remember what the acronym actually stands for, but it's your color essentially.
Well, SRM to them would be a 14 on this beer. So
Yeah, that's just how dark it is. Single digits are usually light. So like if you just do like
Makes
this
sense.
triptych beer, it's probably about a 4.
yeah,
So
effective to be able to see through it, but enough in that golden color to really give it the characteristics of the style that they're going for.
So-
Ryan,
Hello.
Tell us about how much you totally love your cider.
The Blake's Hard Cider, Tropicolada, orange coconut and pineapple hard cider. You guys ever had what's the heck that one? Red's like apple.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Think of that, but a lot sweeter, and then like it almost tastes like more acidic-y aftertaste in the throat. Like I'm just like, oh, like every time I take a sip of it, I feel like I get bitter beer face, and it's not getting better as it's getting warm. But I do taste the orange. I
That
do
is
taste
my
the
problem with
coconut
ciders.
Yeah.
Typically,
And-
they're too sweet.
because they
and
back
pineapple.
sweeten.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's just so it's too sweet. Like I don't
When you-
like it. Like
I mean,
I'm
you have
only
a
halfway through the
sweet
can.
fruit. You have a sweet fruit and pineapple already.
And there's two ways
Yeah.
to do it. You do dry cider or you back sweeten. And in that case, they're probably back sweetening.
I think if I
Yeah.
did this again, I think I'd pour it over ice, just to kind
Good
of
way
water
to
it down.
reduce sweetness.
Yeah,
It is.
water it down a little bit.
I just wouldn't drink it. Nothing
That
to
too.
do with Blake's.
Me
Blake's
neither.
is very popular
Blake's-
around here. I just
Does some good stuff, but if you don't like the fruit in it or you don't like sweet ciders and you're looking for dry ciders, it ain't gonna do it for you.
especially when you're added all the acidity from the fruits being added, especially the orange.
Yeah, orange and
Coconut will give you and then
pineapple's pretty acidic
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
No, very acidic. Yeah, pineapple's like huge.
Name
Cool.
backfield.
Name. Yeah, we need to talk some running backs. We haven't done a lot of running backs. I'm gonna start.
I was gonna go receiver, but it's okay.
Oh, I'm gonna go running back. Then we'll go to your receiver.
Okay.
Let's talk the combo of Damian Pierce and Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary last year was a solid RB2. Damian Pierce was a solid RB2. They're sharing a backfield now.
On a worse offense.
On a worse offense. So, well, Singletary's on a worse offense.
Yes,
Pierce
yeah.
Pierce is actually probably a little bit marginally improved. But,
Maybe.
the concern here is how are they going to split that? These are two backs that are not necessarily known for their receiving prowess. That'll probably be Dare Ogunbowale or Mike Boone that gets involved with that. But
Mike Boone.
Mike Boone is there, yeah. And neither of them are necessarily breakaway speed explosives. So you got two guys that require volume, essentially, to be decent. I mean, Singletary's had some games where he doesn't need a lot of volume during when he was splitting with Zach Moss, but Pierce definitely needs volume to be good. And you've essentially taken it away from him. So, I think that both guys are probably going to be, they're probably later round picks. They probably equally have an opportunity to take control of the backfield, but as long as they're both healthy, that probably isn't going to happen. It's probably going to be a two-headed puppy dog. And that is ugly and takes away two RB2s.
I can honestly see Singletary getting the pass catching work.
Really?
Seeing what he was able to do with the pass catching production he had in Buffalo, which granted didn't have a lot of
Wasn't-
competition for that.
Yeah.
That copycat, type of league. They see what they were able to get from, they saw his work, what he was able to do in Buffalo. I think he had 40 plus targets in both. I think in all the seasons. I think in every season he was in, besides maybe his first or first
41,
two,
50, 50, 52. He had 29,
That's-
38, 38, and 40 receptions.
yeah,
But
I think that's
never more than 300 yards.
yeah. He's not good. He's not a good pass catcher, but you're looking to where you're trying to find, if you're really debating between which running back you want from that backfield, that may be where you lean. Pierce wasn't involved in that role last year. No running back really was. I don't think any running back really was ever involved in that type of role. You had in Stroud a little more mobile than what they've had in years past. It's rough, to say the least. Probably want neither.
Yeah, plus Damian Pierce never saw anything more than 5 targets a game. He was the 6 targets was
Yeah.
his max. He was averaging more likely 3
Yeah.
targets a game
Dude,
and barely
Pierce
turning it
is-
into anything.
Pierce is RB17 on KTC. Jesus Christ. RB19 on DLF.
It's like people don't realize that volume isn't going to be there.
I think it also speaks to the issues of the running back position. Not
Yeah.
really hitting on the 18 class, the 2020 class, definitely not hitting the way that we thought it
That's-
would.
Also true. I mean, he had 230 attempts. He was,
He's a volume play, like you mentioned. He was a volume play that's probably not going to be the same this year.
right.
If all else remains healthy.
All right. Who is your wide receiver?
The Denver wide receivers, both Judy and Sutton. Hopper, I know how much you love Marvin Mims. So, like, it's okay. Keep your draws on. They did spend a second round pick on him.
Fucking hate him.
I know he'll be a factor in this offense. Missed rumors of Judy being moved. I think it's more so Judy than
Is he
Sutton.
bringing them the water bottles in the huddle?
I guess so, but he's probably still going to affect the volume that they get. And a lot of hinging on Sean Payton can completely turn around this offense.
That's what is worth more than anything Marvin Mims is going to do is can Sean Payton turn around Russell Wilson. Marvin Mims.
The first pick that Sean Payton made with the Broncos was your boy Marvin Mims.
It was. Yeah.
He was known for his great drafts his later years in New Orleans, huh?
I mean, he did bring in Michael Thomas and Brandon Cooks.
I said later years.
That was kind of late-ish.
The mid-lates.
We all just forget about Traquan Smith or...
Hey, don't you besmirk Traquan Smith. It was terrible. That entire team was...
Adam Troutman.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
He brought
Captain
Adam
America.
Troutman back. He brought Adam Troutman.
He brought
back.
Adam Troutman with him to Denver. If that speaks...
fuck.
Oh, God. That's... You're Denver's fucked.
That's gross.
You
Yeah.
think it was... Who was the
Your
guy? Who
Dalton
was the
type.
head coach last year? Yeah. I'll buy all the Daltage. Please. Troutman, you can keep pushing his value down.
You.
You.
Speaking of tight ends.
Good
Wait.
talk.
No, well... I was going to try to
Cool,
make
bro.
an argument for Jawan Johnson versus Foster Moreau with Derek Carr there. But I don't think that's an argument anybody cares to have because I don't think
Yeah,
anybody cares,
they're so low. It's like flip a coin.
cares enough
Whatever
about
one
any
get.
of those guys. Hey, the entire Green Bay Packers team.
Yeah, all of them. Literally the entire.
Literally
all
all
down.
of them. Everything's downhill. All those athletic wide receivers, they got worse for them. That's bad.
I saw someone, speaking of Twitter, I saw someone simp up Samadre Torre as the wide receiver one in Green Bay. I'm like, why? But just cool, bro.
Why not?
Because they can.
56
gets
catches for 600 yards and 2 touchdowns with your wide receiver one in Green Bay, folks.
Yeah, I can see it.
Have fun. Legitimate. Oh, wait. Cole Kmet,
The Bears?
Bears,
Where's-
Brennan
Just-
Robert Tunyon.
He's still just an average tight end.
Yeah.
I'm trying. We're on. I'm just looking at tight ends. I saw a name that popped up.
I'm looking at kickers. That's where I'm down to. So
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
I mean, you're just trying to appeal to Hopper's side.
Actually,
that's all you're
no,
doing.
we can do
God,
that.
no.
We can do that.
God,
yeah.
God
Chase
damn it,
McLaughlin
Ryan.
and Rodrigo Blankenship for Tampa Bay.
Sure. All right. Cool.
Rodrigo, well, did he drop? Because he should be going up now.
He just got signed.
Because there's a clip of them hitting some big field goals, and then Baker Mayfield says he hates them because he made 2 game-winning field goals against
He's
them in
kicker
college.
29. He's kicker
He
29.
just got signed. So I mean, it's McLaughlin's who took over.
He got
for him
signed.
in
I mean,
Indy, and then he got
That
signed.
means he
As-
goes up. This
as
is
long
a
as-
sliding episode, not a going up episode.
As long as they're within like 30 yards, he can make
Yeah,
it.
no,
Once you
but
get like
Chase-
40, 50, he can't make it.
But Chase McLaughlin is who slides here because there's going to be a kicker competition now.
And Brett Maher, I mean, he's been released and no one's has signed him yet, so I feel bad for him. After he put a beating on Minnesota last year.
Who the
Oh,
hell's
yeah.
kicking for Christian Vizcaíno?
It's a rookie.
No, it's Christian Vizcaíno. That's not a rookie.
I don't understand how Jake Moody's going down in Dynasty rankings as a kicker. He's kicker 9. He went down. He's a rookie.
I hate you guys.
I don't either. Jake Moody should not be going down, especially not on that team. He should have all the freaking hype under him. I drafted
he
him.
He should be in tier 1.
I got really drunk and said, "Fuck it, I'm taking a kicker in a rookie draft." I'm pretty sure. Isn't that what happened?
Probably.
Wasn't that a rookie draft I did that in? It was like
You
my-
didn't draft the 3rd round kicker
I took
for
a
San Francisco?
I took a 4th round kicker, but it was like
Oh my God. This is words. I love it.
it was
That
like
is
my
awesome.
7th pick in that draft, and I'm like, "Fuck it, I'm taking a kicker." Because
Watch, he'll be your
Fuck it, I'm
starting
taking
kicker.
a
He'll finish as K1 for the season.
yeah, gotta be worth it. Jalen Hyatt or Isaiah Hodgins. He's a little down with the addition of Hyatt and
Yeah.
Bringing
And
in
Darren
Paris
Waller.
Campbell and Darren Waller and, you know,
Ooh, Wandale
keeping
Robinson.
the breakout.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
Daniel Bellinger. I mean, he went down with the
I
signing
think
of
the
Darren Waller.
re-signing of Daniel Jones probably did it for them.
You're just making up names at this point.
Bless you.
Are we?
We gotta be.
We gotta be.
I
out of
felt like
players.
there'd be more to talk about.
No,
than-
we've covered a lot.
then
We're just
risers
doing it
last
really
week.
quick.
Well, it's because we're efficient now, and we don't want to do 2-hour long episodes.
We talked about Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson early on, and with them bringing in
We
Chris
did.
Rodriguez, that's going to be a mess. So nothing to really talk about there with your Commanders. Dallas, you can talk Michael Gallup, I guess, with them bringing in Brandon Cooks.
Oh yeah, and hurting Gallup. I guess. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know if it
Gallup
hurts
had a
Gallup or if it
rough
benefits
end of
Gallup.
last
Rough
year.
season.
It could
I think
benefit
it
Gallup,
benefits.
though.
I think
Yeah.
it benefits the team as a whole, which it will in fact probably benefit Gallup towards the end. He gets to play. I mean, he's going to be playing
Oh.
the same role. It's
Zach
a
Wilson.
little more
We forgot to talk
flanker
about him.
because no one cares about Zach Wilson.
Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
His daddy will coach him up just fine
Zach Wilson's behind Hendon Hooker. That's what's even funny.
because Zach Wilson is your new Josh Rosen.
How rude. That's okay. That means my Dynasty team will go up in flames again for another year, and I'll get the number one pick again next year.
What about Damian Harris?
I think he's a
Leaves
riser.
New England.
I think he's a
and goes
riser,
to
yeah.
Buffalo.
I think it benefits him going to Buffalo because I think they're trying to take the ball out of Josh Allen's hands.
Yeah, they say that they really do, but do you really believe them? Because I don't.
Yes.
No, they said
Coaches
the same
don't
thing
lie.
last year. Yeah, they never lie. They always tell the truth. I can't wait for Khalil Shakir to be both terrible and great this year.
I mean,
It's gonna be
last
wonderful.
year, luckily Josh Allen recovered most of them. He recovered, but he had 13 fumbles last year.
Josh Allen, yeah, I know.
Yeah, and only
He was
lost
a
5 of them.
turnover machine last year, man.
Yeah, he led the league in turnovers.
It was
14 interceptions and five fumbles.
That's what you get for your golden boy quarterback.
But if he never recovered those fumbles, that would have been 27 turnovers total. He
Is
would have
that
been catching up. He would have been close to the 30 for 30 with
This is what happens when you get rid of Brian Dable. He would have been
Yeah,
like he would have
Brian-
been like
Jameis
He would have
Winston.
been like Jameis Winston, 30 for 30. 30 for 30. Oh, Jameis Winston went 30 for 30.
Yeah, Josh Allen was trying to do it.
Josh
He'll try
Allen
harder
is
this
just, he will, He's gonna throw a little more picks. He likes his red zone picks, that's for sure. Thank God.
Yeah, and he likes rushing for it and dropping and putting the ball on the ground.
I think that's the show.
Thank God.
I think that's it. Thank you, James, for the question. If you're still watching, we apologize, but that's your own mistake for keep watching us.